This is the real concrete jungle.
Where I'm from, yeah. I'm from a concrete jungle in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
The concrete jungle.
Welcome to the Concrete Jungle Podcast, in-depth artist interviews, where we'll be diving a little deeper with some of your favorite artists from all around the world and introduce you to some dope people you never knew you needed to know. Shout out to Island City Media Group for bringing you the Concrete Jungle every Wednesday, 8 to 10 p.m. California Fresh Coast, West Coast time. Make sure y'all tap in, download that Dash Radio app. We're streaming live music 24/7. Check it out, y'all. Tonight, we are welcoming to the Concrete Jungle a young Soljah who's been putting in some serious work, center stage and even behind the scenes. He's a hip-hop artist, a writer, a director, just to name a few things, and just an all-around multi-talented brother. Please welcome to the Concrete Jungle, my Soljah, my Oos. TAJ up in the building, y'all. What up, Uso?
The concrete jungle.
Hold up. You are born for this, bro. You got that whole situation on lock. That was probably one of the cleanest intros I ever heard. That's without question. I feel like a superstar right now, bro. That was fantastic. You was born for this. No question.
You is a superstar, Ooze. We here to celebrate you, my brother.
No, I'm maybe like a little dwarf star somewhere in the far distance of the universe. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but the thing about the North Star, Ooze, is shining no matter where you at. You can always find
like that. Straight like that, man. How you doing,
bro?
Ooze,
what's up? Catch us all up, Uso. How you doing, Uso?
Man, all is good. I'm counting my blessings every second of the day, taking everything one breath at a time, bro. You know, I'm head down, feet forward at all times. You know, that's the only way I know how to describe it. Things can get a little weird sometimes. Things can be on the highest of highs sometimes. And no matter what, I'm still just going to keep it pushing. That's the way it goes.
Hey, man, if there's one thing that I can always say is always consistent with you, Ooze, it's always forward motion with you. Every time I see you, Ooze, you always moving and you're moving forward. You know what I'm saying, Ooze?
Yes, sir.
And,
yes.
Yo, Uso, you know, I've had the privilege of meeting you and having, you know, exchange, you know, straight up concepts and, you know, just straight up good energy, brother. For those who might have not had a chance to meet you, Ooze, could we get like a formal introduction? Who is TAJ, you know, in your own words?
Man, yeah, I mean, that's me, TAJ, also known as Westside J, also known as Gerard Predator Haji Jr. from the west side of Santa Ana, you feel me? I'm a multifaceted creative, I guess you could say. You know, I once upon a time used to identify heavy as just like an MC and a musician, but I think here in 2021, the older I get, I don't really care what the medium is, as long as I get to tell cool stories and more importantly, help my people that look like me and walk like me and talk like me get their story out there in ways that all these different mediums in the world has, you know, kind of fucked us on that front for many, many years. You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm a storyteller, bro, and that's what I do. You know, in any way, shape, or form that I could tell stories and get to the bag all at once. That's kind of the motto for my life now. You know what I'm saying? I to be more specific, I've been directing for the last few years. Excuse the sirens. I'm in downtown LA, but you know, I've been directing for the last few years now, and that's really like kind of where my heart's been at. Music is always at the center of my existence. Music kind of plays a major role even in the way that I direct and the way that I create content. You know, I also, you know, had a podcast for a while. I used to work closely with Dash Radio and Island Block, Island City, and you know, the family over there. And yeah, like that's all just to kind of like contribute to my motto, which is just create at all costs, you know, whatever it takes. If I can create stories in whatever medium is available to me, I'm gonna do that, especially if I can pay my bills doing it at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, salute, brother. Yo, you know, speaking of like just having that relationship with Dash and, you know, kind of just starting from the beginning of just being a creator yourself. Mm-hmm. So let's take them back in some history real quick, because for those of y'all out there who've been rocking with the Concrete Jungle, let me give you a little bit of some history, yo. My Soljah right here, my brother right here, had a first hand in concept in creating this Concrete Jungle, yo, at Dash Studios. So give us like a run back there and like how that started for you and your point of view and how you was about to take off with Concrete Jungle.
Man, well, my introduction to Dash was that I, you know, going on through high school and stuff, I was in all like, you know, the typical drama and choir and band and all of that. And I played in a church. You know, I played the keys and the bass in the church, and of course was always part of the Christmas play and all of that. And the thing that bro, since I was a little boy, man, the thing that people had always said was like, you got a voice for radio, right? And this is obviously 90s, 2000s, like this is when radio was at an all-time high, you know what I'm saying? Like Big Boy, even Steve Harvey was on 100.3 The Beat. You remember, you know what I'm talking about? Like Julio G was on 93.5 K-Day.
Oh man.
And that was at a time when radio was at the epicenter of all, like, you know, urban culture. You know what I'm saying? Like to have your record on the radio, to have radio DJs talk about you was an honor. So I always kind of had that in the back of my head, doing music and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I really want to have a radio show. Fast forward, I'm like maybe like 20, 21. And I started dating this girl who was actually she was a producer at Power 106, but a former intern at Dash Radio. Nice. And so she was like, if you want to get into radio, you should check out, you know, DJ Ski's whole thing over there up on Cahuenga. And so she plugged me with somebody at Dash, and they gave me an internship. Check this out. I wasn't even in college, right? I was like a college dropout. But obviously, to be an intern, you gotta be in school. You can't just go up in there and intern, right? So I went to Fullerton Junior College, and I enrolled in one class, and it was the broadcast journalism internship class. I wasn't taking no other courses. I was just going there to get this one credit so I could go to Dash and be like, yeah, I'm a real student, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And they gave me an internship, right? And my goal was to get my own show and all of that. Bro, like my third day, I'm sitting up there. This is when the office, not the one that's on Hollywood. It's on Hollywood, right? Or is it on Sunset? The new one.
It's on Hollywood, yep.
On Hollywood. So not the one that's on Hollywood. I'm talking about the old school one that used to be off of Cahuenga and the 101, right?
With the fucked up parking.
Yes, with the terrible parking, man. Oh my God. So many horror stories in there. What was homeboy's name from not Death Row? The dude that helped start NWA, the old head, the white boy, Jerry something.
Jerry Heller.
I saw Jerry Heller crash his car in that parking lot, bro. You know, old ass. Anyways, back to the radio thing, right? I'm sitting there on my third day, bro, and I'm on my computer just being all like, I'm an intern. And I hear it coming up the stairs, boom, boom, this loud steps, dog. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Here come big old Joe Sav, big old Eda MC, big old Joe Q Kanga coming through the thing. I'm like, oh shit, these are polys. These are Islanders. I'm like, I'm geeked right now. I'm like, nobody in this place look like me. What you talking about? So these fools come in and they go inside the studio right away. And I think they was interviewing Jay Boog or Sammy J. But whichever one it was, I was also geeked about them. So I went to my my internship director. I'm like, I gotta meet these fools. You know, I gotta go up in there. I'm about to walk up in there. I gotta meet these fools. So I go in there and I realize it's the barbecue show, which everybody knew. You know what I'm saying? I got tight with them, introduced myself to Q and Joe Sav, and Q's like, wait, what's your last name? Man, your people's my people's. I know your grandpa, I know your grandma, all of that. You know how that shit always go down. Like from that moment forward, I was no longer a Dash radio intern. I officially became an Island Block intern. And and they just kind of like took me in, and you know, I had a whole bunch of other shit going on at the same time. I was already kind of doing my thing on YouTube. I was signed to a YouTube multi-channel network at the time as a creator, but I really wanted to do this radio thing. And Q and Joe Sav, they got behind me, and Dash Radio loves Q and Joe Sav, bro. Like that family at that time, they ask for anything, they get it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when I pitched my idea for my own show on another channel, that's kind of where the whole radio thing started. And I just been super close with the Island family and Island Block, Island City. Been super close with everybody ever since. So when Concrete Jungle came around, shout out to Ryzen, you know, they knew that they needed some folks like us that also knew hip hop at its truest core. You know what I'm saying? Not just poly hip hop or not just boom bap hip, but just like understood the culture at its core. And yeah, I was around to just try and like help, you know, ideate some things. And Concrete Jungle, I actually originally wanted to call it The Get Up. That was my whole thing. I wanted to make it a morning show called The Get Up, right? But at the end of the day, all I really wanted was to give people like you and me a safe place to talk hip hop, to chop bars and stuff, and be able to do it in a way that relates to our experience. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm mixed, you know, I come from multi-experiential background, and I felt like this was the perfect home for it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's the story on how I helped out with that. You know, I originally was going to be one of the hosts, but I think just timing and shit, you know, that's the way it goes. I think maybe at that time I might have started working at All Def around that time. And it just wasn't like the timing wasn't. I was hosting a morning news segment at All Def for like 2 years, producing all their music shows and stuff. So it just didn't work out. But y'all did it. You know, that's what matters. Is it wasn't just an idea. You know what I'm saying? It's a real life living thing now. And I'm proud to say that I played a tiny little itty bitty role in that. You know what I'm saying?
Ah, salute, brother. You know what I'm saying? It takes one pebble to ruffle up the whole ocean. You know what I'm saying?
Straight
so like,
that.
with with that being started, bro, you know, I just gotta say thank you, Oos, and salute. And we definitely need that safe place so we can talk hip hop, but also tell our stories. Because like we hear it all the time. Like, can't nobody tell our stories like ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So like, speaking of like, damn man, Oos, you just laid out some fucking history right there, Oos. Like straight up, like I said, bro, from the beginning, forward motion with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, always.
So fast forward to the Concrete Jungle, you're leaving that, and now you're working with All Def. What was that like working? Because I read a little somewhere, sometime that you was working under Russell Simmons in that whole scenario. Let's talk about that real quick, man. That's hip hop royalty right there.
Yeah, straight up, man. That was a real interesting experience with that whole thing that happened with him. Because I had met Russell a few times before working for All Def. One time I was helping the Baker Boys shoot their documentary, and they had interviewed him. And this was before I was at All Def. And, you know, like, it was one of them things, like, you meet a lot of people kind of moving around the industry, and bro, you know, for the sake of context, like, there was a time when I would take any gig. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want me to come cam op, I'll come run a camera. You want me to run the audio, I'll run the audio, bro. You want me to be the PA? You want me to go get coffee for you motherfuckers? I'll come do that, whatever you want. I just want to be in a room, you know what I'm saying? And I want to be able to just watch and see how these people move and try to like apply whatever, you know, because it's about 80% foo-foo shit. You learn that real quick, but whatever 20% real shit. And, you know, like when you grow up in certain circumstances, if you really know how to observe situations, you can pick out the shit that you need to carry with you, and you can pick out the stuff you need to brush off, right? So when opportunities came up to meet Russell, once was that Baker Boys thing, and then once I helped actually plan the All Def anniversary, the All Def 1 million subscribers party at One Oak, and I had met him through that. And then maybe like 6 months later, this is probably like 2017, 2018, I was in the talks of trying to be one of the hosts for Complex News. And this one I was, you know, I was skinny, looking good. I was ready for the camera, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I was auditioning for Complex News, and that they took me on an emotional roller coaster, bro, because I thought I was gonna have some life-changing opportunity be put in front of me. And they were all like, man, you're exactly what we want. We love you. We're gonna call you next week. Next week come, no phone call, next month. Next 6 months, didn't hear nothing. And, you know, the people's at Complex that I know or knew that were there, I know different people there now, but the people that were there at that time, they kind of just like ghosted me. Like I was on some like weirdo first date type shit, you know what I'm saying? And I was really discouraged, you know. And that was 2017, like maybe like 6 or 7 months into 2018, this lady that used to manage me when I was doing the whole like YouTuber thing way back from like 2010 to like 2016, she was working at All Def, and she posted something on her Facebook saying, hey, we're looking for new hosts for All Def Music News. And at the time, I'm like, I'm not trying to be part of no like off-brand Complex News, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to do none of that. But my girl, man, shout out to my shorty. She got on my head like, what do you have to lose? Like, you go up in there interview, and if it's whack, just dip. You know, like if you don't like it, then but you gonna shoot yourself in the foot if you don't at least go try. So I walked up in there, and I auditioned for Russell and Daz, shout out Daz, and this dude Chris Blackwell, who later became the CEO after that whole situation happened with Russell. And yeah, man, like you're right, bro. It was definitely one of the things, like growing up on hip hop, and particularly growing up understanding the business side of it. You know, I was blessed to have uncles who had their own record label in the 90s and a rap group and all of that. And I was kind of brought into rap with a clear understanding of more than just like ciphers and bars and shit. You know, like I understood publishing and points on my first project when I was 15. I became sort of fast. Like one of my downfalls as a hip hop fan is that my mind always goes back to numbers. When somebody want to talk to me about who's the GOAT and shit, I'm like, yeah, well, they only got like 4 fucking number one, you know, rap singles. They only got like number one that ever even touched the top 10 in the pop singles. That's always where my mind goes, because I'm thinking fucking numbers. Even though I'm an artist and I understand the artistic part of it, I kind of like look at someone like Russell, or look at anybody that's accomplished, especially a pioneer like that, as, you know, like you said, like royalty, you know. But also sometimes kings may fall. You know what I'm saying? And so that whole experience when all of those allegations and stuff came out, I lost my job for 6 months, bro. Like everybody did. You know what I'm saying? Like I got pulled into the office and they're like, yo, we got to put a lot of shit on hold. We can't really talk about it type shit, but today's your last day. I'm like, what the fuck you mean? Damn. So I was hurt. At the time, I had a recording studio in Santa Ana. And, I got my hand in the whole grip of shit. I'm like, damn, that fucking sucks. Because I feel like that fucks with my momentum in this space. But at the same time, I'll survive. So I just focused on my studio and my music and all of that. And like 6 months later, got a call back like, hey, we need you to come through and host this, whatever. And then throughout my career there, I mean, at that time, obviously, Russell had exited the situation. All Def had kind of gone through a little baby rebranding. And I became a producer over there and then, slowly worked my way into being the senior editorial producer for all the music content from Bar Exam and The Initiation to helping with Follow and Arts and Raps and all of their big music properties. And that shit, was a very important part of my career for sure. Like just kind of like solidifying me as a content creator, not just some like hip hop fanatic, but really a professional in the content creation space without being such like an on-camera talent. You know what I'm saying? Because there's like that professional and then there's like that prosumer guy who, goes out and does vlogs and things like that. And in that industry, those people kind of sometimes get shitted on, you know what I'm saying? And this kind of made me like have a real resume, and be like, when someone like Complex reaches out or something, it's like, I have receipts that I've produced some of the biggest content in the hip hop space online. You know what I'm saying? I'm very blessed without question. I thank God for those few years that I was working with All Def, most definitely.
Yo, that's definitely a blessing, Ooze. What would you say is your biggest lesson you've learned from working under Russell Simmons?
Under Russell, the biggest lessons are the ones that I'd rather keep private, but I would say professionally, because the biggest lessons are more like just how to move in an environment where, you should be a little more sensitive about the shit that comes out of your mouth and shit like that. I'll just keep it at that, right? But I think professionally, it's
how do you do that as an artist, Ooze?
I mean, you just like the same way you do it like this, bro. You gotta be aware of your surroundings and you cannot let who you are or who everyone else thinks you are influence the way you move, bro. Imagine like it's like this. Let me try and give an example, bro. Our people are very polarizing in the way that we move in between generations, right? Like our parents and their parents' generations move very differently than us and our kids if they're out now. If we got kids like right. that generation of like 0 to 15, and then us, and then our parents and grandparents. There's a thick line of where people move differently, right? We could be the coolest motherfuckers to our people, and when we walk into a church or we walk into a family reunion or whatever, we're not finna let, I don't give a fuck who you are, big whoever from this hood, or you might be the biggest rapper in this shit. You might be fucking J Boog. When J Boog goes to the family reunion, he's Jerry. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes in the industry, you let people influence the way you think you could talk to motherfuckers. You understand what I'm saying? And you forget that you're just Russell. If we use that example, you forget that I don't give a fuck if you Drake, bro. I feel like it's basic human boundaries before your status, before you're a fucking executive producer, before you're a PA. Just check yourself real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like the way you move like that, damn well if this situation was different, it'd be whack, 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 all the way across the whole face. You know what I'm saying? So the big, like one of those, I think one of those lessons I learned at All Def and at many of the professional environments that I've been in, never, thankfully, I come from a space that kind of put me on game with that type of shit early on. And I just like, I guess, I don't know, just because of where we come from, it's like, I don't know, the first thing I do in any room is lead with respect, because dog, where we come from, you lead with disrespect, you might not be going home, dog. And it's just like kind of gets programmed into your shit, right?
That's real shit.
But sometimes when you're in these environments where everybody's a 4-year college graduate and everybody's got fucking degrees and shit, and shout out to my boy Ice Cold Bishop. He's an incredible artist, bro. He's about to be the biggest thing ever, dog. He's so fucking good. Ice Cold Bishop. He just posted on his Instagram the other day. Sometimes A&Rs forget that they could get smacked the fuck up too, right? And I had a whole conversation with him about this whole thing.
Hell yeah.
it's not that they forget devotion. They don't forget that they could get smacked up. Bro, they never been in a situation where they could get smacked up. That's the difference. They never ever, to us, that's regular, bro. We have to lead with respect. You walk into a room, you say some dumb shit, you accidentally say where you from to the wrong motherfucker, and it's a whole, that's not even what you meant, but you're gonna learn today. And how many times have we learned the long and hard way? We've learned so many lessons the hard way, our people have. And, the same thing can be said about, the black side of my family or my Mexican homies. Everybody who comes from these impoverished neighborhoods that white folks or privileged folks look at as like savages or whatever. We go into these environments and we feel alone, you know what I'm saying? And so the biggest lesson I learned in all of these environments is usually like on an interpersonal communication level, right? But the most valuable professional shit that I've learned is just covering my ass when it comes to intellectual property. You know what I'm saying? Like when I signed with All Def, I just, I got mad love for that whole team, and I'm so happy for everybody on the comedy side because they are eating, dog. Like Kev on Stage, to hear more, Tony Baker, Patrick Cloud, like them fools are doing so well right now, man. Kev on Stage got his own app, dog. Like that shit is incredible. I just wish I was as
on
smart
Spectrum
as them.
Commercials and all that.
Come on, fool, come on, dog. And so I look at like some of the properties that I created for All Def, and I wish I would have been a little more wise, But let me say it like this so we don't put All Def on blast. I guess I could say one of the most valuable lessons I've learned in all of the experiences I've been in, from All Def to, working with Nike, working with NFL, is just making sure I cover my tracks on a legal level and just know that my ideas are worth something. You know what I'm saying? And they come from my brain, and they may end up going on the internet and flopping and getting 500 views, or they come from my brain and they end up going and sell $500,000 worth of sneakers or some shit. And I have to know the value of that. And that's been a lesson that I've learned over the years of being able to not being scared to say no to shit. You know what I'm saying? And just like every opportunity is not a good opportunity. Every opportunity is not, is not some life-changing shit. And it's okay to be like, okay, I'm gonna take this L because I could make a few dollars here, but ultimately it's gonna make me real mad at the end of the day, So I think like, particularly with that experience we were talking about, that's probably the biggest professional lesson I walked away with. But there was definitely a lot of interpersonal communication lessons that I learned. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, y'all. Because, it get kind of hard to bite your lips sometimes when people get acting real brave with the way they talk to each other.
Oh, bro, man, I agree with you 100%, man. I say it all the time. I said, niggas act like they Beyonce, bro.
Yeah. And even if you was Beyonce,
wavelength, it's like,
let
bro,
Beyonce come in the room. Let Beyonce come in the room and say some dumb shit and let my sister be in the corner, dog. She'll let her know I don't give a fuck who you are. Like, it doesn't matter. All of that status, all of that, it does not matter, bro. At the end of the day, we're all human. And I know that sounds cliche and corny, but you're gonna find out because the highest, the most popular, the most surrounded motherfucker's jaw hurts the same way mine does, and their heart hurts the same way mine does. Not to just make it violent, but like, you just like me, G, and you going through all the same shit. You may be a fucking trillionaire, but you battling the same shit I'm battling, homeboy. So when you come up in here, you treat me with the respect that you asked for, because I don't give a damn who you are. And that's to me, being able to lead with that. And when someone comes in and is acting funky, also outgrowing my need to like be like, fuck you, dog. Like, I don't need to do that no more. If somebody acts funky, I will respectfully decline this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back to the people that love me and the people that respect me. And I'll be okay if I don't work for you. I'll be okay if I don't do this video for you, because you're a fucking jackass. And I'm good off that, bro. I'm 30 years old, homeboy. Like, I don't gotta prove nothing to nobody. My biggest thing is, can I take care of my shorty? Can I send my mama a cool little check every month? You know what I'm saying? Can I feed my dog some real high quality food? Those are my things. I don't care about your record deal. I don't care about being your shooter and all of that stuff. Like, but if you walk up in this room and you treat me with respect, who knows, dog? You might become one of my best friends, and maybe I could do all of that stuff for you. But it ain't because of who you are. It's because I fuck with you and I love you. You know what I'm saying? And those are the lessons that I really hold on, bro. Because even recently, like, I've said no to some opportunities, and then I'm like, okay, something a little more ideal will come around, and then nothing does. And I'm like, I'm having to convince myself, or remind myself, I should say, of what's what, because then, my mind's like, fuck, I should have took that job. But I also know if I would have took that job, I'd be mad miserable right now. You know what I mean? So that was the long version.
No, that's what we needed to hear, bro. This is the in-depth artist interview. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. Yeah,
No,
man.
we appreciate this part, man, because like
You
without
know?
these interviews, Oos, and being able to like really get in depth with our people, like we really don't know what's really going on behind the artist. You know what I'm saying? Behind the
Right,
microphone, behind the camera. You
right.
know, and speaking of behind the camera and being, you know, an MC yourself, Oos, let's talk a little bit about working behind the mic and working behind the camera as a director. Like, is this like a whole nother high for you, or could you compare
Oh,
the two
yeah.
for us?
Yeah, man. I mean, hip hop was the first thing in terms of art that I ever just like was consumed by in terms of love. Like I was like probably like 8 or 9, you know, when I first started like fucking around, copying cadences and trying to use my own words, rapping about shit I didn't know nothing about. You know, like I mean, shit, I was probably like 8 years old when the Carter 2001 came out, right? That was 99. And I was like, yup. Oh man, I was in all the little ciphers at, you know, Huntington Beach used to have the US Open, and they used to, for some reason, invite a bunch of little kids on stage to be rapping and stuff. And I was like the one kid from the hood around all these little HB kids, but I was up there. It's like, it's Dre Day, the AK, no, home a lot, can't keep it home a lot. You know, I'm like, this kid's tight as fucking. They didn't even know what I was rapping somebody else's shit, bro. And these fucking fools didn't know what was what. So my love for that art of performance and using words to connect ideas, you know, within the structure of poetry was just so fascinating to me, bro. And it stayed that way all through my teenage years. And then I dropped my first studio album in 2015, or no, 2016. Started writing it in 2015. But before that, I had a grip of like mixtape projects and like some online campaigns and stuff around rap. And yeah, bro, that shit used to be my everything, man. Like there was literally nothing I went through. There was no experience, no thought that went through my head that I didn't try to turn into a bar or try to turn into a record, which resulted in a lot of terrible records, right? Really bad records, but also resulted in 10-4, which is my baby, which is, you know, since 10-4, to answer your question about directing, since 10-4, I really struggled to like, you know, finish work. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to rapping and shit, like I'm a studio artist, even though the stage is my home. I've kind of like grown out of battle rapping and like, you know, like I told you, my family had brought me into rapping with business already in my mind. And so when I realized I had done like some battles in my early 20s, and that shit was fun and all, and I'm very good at talking shit through rap, but it was like, damn, you get paid once for this? Like I write these bars and I only get paid one time for this, and I can never say these bars ever again for the rest of my life. If I ever say these bars again, I'm gonna get ate up, you know? And or if I ever even say anything along the same lines as these bars, I'm gonna get chopped up, right? And so I was like, this is just not economical. This is not the smartest way to use my energy. So I focused really heavy on the studio, got my own studio, and my first studio was in 2012. And then I got another studio in 2016 in downtown Santa Ana, and it was like 12 hours a day, bro. And recording myself, mixing and mastering myself, recording and mixing and mastering other artists, which helped me get my shit right. You know what I'm saying? And then 10-4 came out, and 10-4 came from a place of so much darkness and pain, and the story was so easy to tell, right? There was like literally no wrong way I could say a bar. No matter what the fuck I wrote, I was like, yes, that's the truth. I feel that, I want that on the project, and it just so happened to be tight by the grace of God. And then since then, it's just been like, God damn, I can't finish a song for the life of me. And maybe because I'm happy these days, or maybe like, you know, rap is my tool for my pain. You know what I'm saying? It's my way to create poetry out of my pain. And like rapping about happy shit, to me, I always feel like I'm rapping somebody else's record. You know, when I'm talking shit about rappers, or I'm like, I got all this ice on me, or like, you know, I pull up on the scene in the drop top, whatever, like that shit sounds so whack to me. And it's not that that's whack music, because I rap along to that shit all day. But when it comes from me, it just doesn't feel real. It feels like I'm rapping somebody else's song. And so I've really been struggling since 2016. And then, you know, like the whole story I told you with All Def, like around that same time I dropped that project, the opportunities in media kind of came around. And that was when I realized that I'm not a rapper. You know, I'm a storyteller, and whatever medium you put in front of me to tell a story, I'm gonna do that, man. If it's, you know, creating a clothing line, if it's doing photography, if it's fucking directing videos, writing raps. I've written R&B records for R&B artists. I've written some gospel records for some gospel bands, and I play the keys, you know what I'm saying? And I love playing backup I used to play backup keys for Andrew Garcia, Jessica Clark, and all of them, you know, YouTuber, fucking, you know, American Idol type folks and stuff. And I came to the understanding that all I want to do is create experiences for people, you know, through emotion and like creating stage designs and hosting live concerts and shit, just to help people experience shit. And that's what ultimately, you know, isn't that what I was doing with rap? I was helping people experience me, you know what I'm saying? And I was helping people experience themselves in many ways. Like if I make a record about being brokenhearted, I'm helping however many thousands of people listen to that record with a broken heart. I'm helping them experience their own shit in ways that they like. I mean, how many times have you been brokenhearted and listened to a John Legend record, and your whole brokenhearted experience is different now? It's less lonely. It's, you feel heard, you know what I'm saying? You feel like you have something that can ride with you through this bullshit. And so when I discovered that there's other ways to do that, I think that that's where my heart's at. So to lead to your second part of the question, yeah, man, directing is, it's a whole different high, bro, because it is significantly harder than rapping, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like rapping came easy to me from the time I was a little kid, and directing, I feel like I'm moving with imposter syndrome at all times. I feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But like someday someone's gonna expose me and they're gonna be like, this guy's a phony. You don't know what he's just copying a bunch of other directors and whoop-de-whoop, which I am, bro. I find my favorite shots in my favorite movies and my favorite music videos, my favorite ads or documentaries, and I'm like, screenshot. Fool, if I showed you my phone of the amount of screenshots I have of my favorite shots from fucking, you know, I don't know if you can see the pictures, but I got Spike Lee up there. I got John Singleton over here.
I'm about to say, your background dope, Woos.
I got hella people that inspire. That's the Booyah Tribe right there. DJ Quick, Nipsey, Dr. Dre, The Roots, John Singleton, and Ice Cube's on them. Oh, you can't see the bottom ones, and Snoop over there too. But John Singleton, Spike Lee, Stanley Kubrick, and then obviously like more modern directors like Calmatic, Pascual Gutierrez, and RJ Sanchez from Clica. And, you know, Jasmine Garcia, like these people inspire me, bro. And I full on openly copy the fuck out of these dudes and then do it my way. You know what I'm saying? Like I find ways, you know, to just follow my instincts and tell cool stories, bro. Like I just did this whole doc series and it was like so hard, bro. Like, and that shit excites me, you know, because you go in the studio and you're not challenged and you leave and you feel like you wasted your time and you didn't do anything, you know, groundbreaking for yourself. I'm not talking about for the audience. I mean, like, I don't feel like I feel like I just went in there and wasted my time and just fucking sang, you know, like ABCs and shit for 4 hours. But on set, I'm constantly like worried that I'm not going to get it right. And that is exciting. You know what I'm saying? Because it keeps me there. It keeps my mind there. It doesn't, I can't be lazy with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to. And also, bro, I didn't go to college for this shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Half the time these people are talking about shit on set. I'm like, what, dog? I don't even know what that means. I have no idea what you're talking about. But I'm also the type of dude, like I told you from the other shit about interpersonal communication, I ain't got no problem saying that, Devotion. I be on set like, they're like, I don't know, I can't even give you an example, bro. Like they just be saying some weird, wild ass film lingo shit. And I'm like, does it look tight, bro? Like, I don't fucking know. Like, you're the DP, you guys are the gaffers and the cam ops. Listen, I trust y'all. This is what I want. And if you guys know that what I want isn't particularly gonna work, I can't tell you how to get there. I don't know how to get there. You know how to get there though. And I don't come from a traditional film background, like where a lot of directors can take over and man the cam and set the lighting and diffuse all the fucking lights and turn off lights. But what I do know, yeah, like what I do know is what looks whack, and I know what looks tight to me. And I've been told by my peers in the space, like, you got good instincts, Jay. You know, like my DPs the DP that I work with on this documentary series for Fuse, that was one of the best things he told me. He was the first one to tell me that. And I always carried that with me, and it sort of manifests in different situations. He was like, I like working with you because you got good instincts, and the shit that you think of, I agree with. You know what I'm saying? And he never challenged me, which you get a lot sometimes between directors and DPs, especially when the DP is also a director. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not. I only know how to sit in the chair and be like, nah, man, like I don't want her. I don't like, you know, like for example, if I'm in an interview, I could be talking like this, right? And this is very common that somebody would shoot with all the negative space in front of the interviewee, right? But I'm more the type that's gonna interview somebody like this with all the negative space behind the head, just to create a more dynamic look. And I've been told that that's good instincts. I don't know why. I watch it on documentaries. I'm like, that looks way cooler than when K-Cal 9 does the fluff piece with the fucking bakery owner down the street. You know what I'm saying? And so to answer your question about like, is it a whole new high, man? Like directing does something for me that rap never did. Real talk. Like, and it's terrifying, bro. It's terrifying in all the best ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, bro.
Nah, I feel you, man. You know? I had to put a music video together on my own, and I definitely took a lot more pride in that end result with that project than like a lot of just finishing songs and banging those out on a daily basis.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, man, you look back like that. Those fucking little frames took me like 2 weeks to get those couple frames right.
Right. And
you know what I'm saying?
Put us in a cipher, fool. What did that take? Nothing.
Bro, I
can make circles around all your favorite rappers, dog. I could do this shit. I could rap like your favorite rapper 10 times over. But that's not rewarding. You know what I'm saying? For some reason. Even though it is, when it comes to ciphers and shit, like, you know the feeling, like, damn, I just went off and the crowd is going crazy off of my bars, and everybody walking up like, damn, dog, you can rap, you're fucking tight, what's your Instagram and all that, and you feel good, you feel like a little celebrity at the moment. But when you create, especially in 2021, when it's like you shoot and they could cut that shit in like 3 days, and the next thing you know, it's published to the world in like less than a week. I'm not talking about chopping film and color correcting in Sweden and having to mail the film back, and it takes 3 years for some content to come out. In today's world, like, the video killed the radio star. You know what I'm saying? So
serious shit, man.
Like, now I'm trying to be a video star, but I don't want to be on camera. Like, I love rap, devotion. I'm never gonna stop rapping, dog. But I want to be a director, man. You know what I'm saying? And you ever heard of King Maz? King Maz?
Put us up on game, brother.
Oh, bro, King Maz is so fucking tight. He's, first of all, first things first, bar for bar. Oh my God, he's definitely like a top 10 of his tier and a top 10 of his like time frame of when he first hit the scene. Like, think caliber wise, think like Reason, Isaiah Rashad, Kaz, Boz. You know what I'm saying? Like that level of artist, but also has directed a fuck ton of music videos. He's been on Anderson .Paak Records, Sir Records. He's super tight with TDE. I look at him and I'm like, yeah, dog, that's that shit I would like to be known for. Where it's like Maz, the name Maz can be on the directed by credit. It can be on the writer's credit. He can be featured on the record. He can probably do your album cover if he wanted to. He could probably put together your whole digital rollout if you asked him to. He could probably come up with the craziest campaign you ever heard of. And as me, who I've worked in advertisement, I've directed Nike commercials. I've been part of Amazon rollouts, which are like way more corporate than anything else I do, right? I've been part of the All Def experience. I've also created albums, and I've directed music videos and wrote treatments for big videos and stuff. And I want to be remembered for the guy that just took the opportunity to tell cool shit and do cool shit whenever it came around. I have ideas for clothing lines and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't fucking know, whatever. Like, and I'm not trying to be the master of none of it. I'm not trying to be the best of none of that shit. I just want to do cool shit and get paid for it and come home and rest my head at 10 p.m. and wake up, the next day and just like be back to life and do fun shit.
You're real creative, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. And
I ain't gonna lie, man. When I was getting ready for this interview, bro, I know you as an artist. So, as another MC, I'm saying, out there putting in that work. But when I was getting prepared for this interview, I was like, there's way too many layers of you that we need to kind of unpack than to just sit on the, on the mic with this.
Yeah, I appreciate
so like,
that.
You know what I mean? Oos? Like, I want to dive a little bit more into the whole directing side, because I know you've done stuff like, I know you got that new, you've done campaign commercials from Nike to Amazon. So I know you got that new docuseries out with, what is it, the Canvas LA?
Yep, that's it, man. Yep, the Canvas on Fuse TV.
Another bit of work that you had done that kind of really touched, a little home for me on that one was More Than an Athlete.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
so
that was a good project.
I want to know, like, as you do direct this and you see the end result of the project, what does it feel like to see them tell their stories? What does that feel like?
Man, I hate to be cliche, bro, but it's so indescribable. It's just like, I don't have any children, right? but I know that when I have nieces and nephews, and I listen to my brothers and sisters and talk about like, you can create all kinds of shit, but when that child walks in a room and you realize that you created that child and you're responsible for everything that child is, you know, I would put it in that same similar lane, probably not even remotely to the same magnitude of a real human child, but like
no, I feel you.
Like my work, especially behind the camera, is like that shit lightweight. Like the first project I did with Game 7 and with, you know, who's the agency that handled all that Nike stuff, bro, I was mind blown. I was like, what? I did this? This is fucking, y'all lying. Like I faked my whole way through this whole shit. You know, like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I'm looking at this shit.
Dope, man.
And you know what's crazy? On my Vimeo, the cut on my Vimeo for that, More Than an Athlete, you know, Move as One with Clint Capella and the kids that were in the foster system. I cut that piece. That wasn't the official 60-second piece that went to Foot Locker. The piece that I cut was damn near, like, I want to say that shit was over 3 minutes long, right? Because there was just so much good shit. And, you know, I'm gonna be fully transparent with you. You know, the client wasn't exactly excited about it when it came out because it was super like sad, not sad, but it was like moving, right? It wasn't a Nike like we're more than an athlete, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna sell some Air Force Ones and shit. Like it was really like some filmmaker shit, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to take credit like that. I was the creative director on that project who helped direct it. The director on the credit is Pascual Gutierrez, who really let me do my thing. And he has been such a mentor to me. And he's my dog for the rest of my life. Literally just text me right now during this interview. And he really like kind of nurtured me and let me make decisions behind the camera. Let me make decisions. Well, I mean, as the creative director, the story of it all was ultimately came down to the story that I was trying to tell alongside Tomas Whitmore, who was the creative director at Game 7. But yeah, so, you know, I had a good team with me over there at Game 7 who produced that whole project, the Move as One project. I wasn't supposed to be on set for that, bro. I got brought into Game 7 to help them design the deck. You understand what I'm saying? Like not even do no creative shit, bro. Wow. But shout out to Vertel Scott and Tomas Whitmore over there at Game 7 because they found me on Working Not Working. And they were like, we just fuck with you because you really know what's cracking with the culture. Vertel Scott's Black, Tomas is Latin dude. And they just were all about, you know, making sure that when we telling stories about the culture, it's really people from the culture that's in there working. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a bunch of people that are exploiting these stories. They're people that come from these stories. You know what I'm saying? And so when they had hollered at me, bro. I kid you not, Devotion. I had maybe at the very most, bro, like $4 to my name, and I was down bad, bro. I was like trying to flip patties on Spring Street and stuff. I was trying to stay out the trap and just not, you know what I'm saying? Like not do no dumb shit, straight. Get money, you know, no scamming, none of that. And just, I was like going through it hard emotionally. I was going through it at the crib and just trying to figure out how the fuck I'm gonna do life. I had just got my first loft in downtown LA and I'm like, oh my God, the whole all deaf shit was falling apart. You know, it was all fucked up. They brought me onto that project because I was good with designing decks, right? Like that's something I have. That's another thing I just fucking love doing. You got a project. How can I make it look amazing in a fucking 7-page deck? So I showed them all the decks that I had done before, which I had done like treatments for fucking Roddy Ricch, all deaf shit. I done treatments for music videos for Republic Records artists and UMG artists and shit. And I was no stranger to designing these decks, so they brought me in just for that. Right. And then one day I was sitting at the third day I was there, I was sitting at my desk and the executive producer comes over. He was like, yo, can you pull up those decks that you showed me? I want to show this other guy over here. He's one of our designers. So I started clicking. Is that too loud?
No, you're good, bro. That adds to the ambiance of what we do.
You know what I'm saying? So I started, check this shit out, bro. I started clicking through my folders and the executive producer, Vertel Scott, was like, wait. Go through those folders again. And it was like this, bro. I wish I could show you on my computer, but it was like, okay, you want to see what deck? Okay, so then I opened my hard drive, 2 terabyte hard drive called Herschel, right? Inside Herschel, I got 1 through 10, decks, designs, receipts, taxes, invoices, decks, click decks. And then in the end of my decks, I got 1 through 15, all my clients. Which one did you want to see? Oh, you want to see the Roddy Ricch one? Boom, UMG, I don't even know who he's with. Whatever the under label is, maybe it was Carolina at the time or something. Who the fuck is Roddy Ricch with? I don't know. Look, we're gonna cut that part out. But the short version of that is I was going through and he was impressed by my organization skills on my hard drive. Because he was like, bro, what? This is how you get down? Like, I said, we should have you in here full time, because if you come and look at our folders, they are fucked up. Like, we can't find nothing. And so then that kind of brought us closer, right? When I was designing the deck for the Move As One campaign for the foster kids, my parents went to jail when I was 9 months old, bro. My parents cumulatively did damn near 15 years, right? And I was raised, as a ward of the court of Orange County, and I was no stranger to the foster system and social workers and all of that, and no stranger to just like that bitter taste that is left in your mouth when fucking KCal 9 want to come and talk to you at the fucking, annual Thanksgiving drive or the fucking Christmas drive, and they want to come talk to you and be like, well, how does it feel to be a foster kid and all of that shit? And I'm like, I kind of just shared, me, like I told you about how it was at all. I'm keep it funky with you.
Wow, bro.
This shit ain't cool, dog.
I didn't know that.
We can't just be walking up in there with cameras and shit. Like, what? No, bro, you gotta no, hold up, everybody. I'm sorry. I know I'm stepping out of my lane here as the deck designer and all that, but we gotta talk about this shit, because we can't just be walking up into a fucking foster home, sticking cameras in kids' faces, and you think they're gonna tell you the truth? Nah, man, hell no. And we ain't even lacing them up. No, first of all, we gotta have budget to get all of them Air Forces. We gotta let them keep all the clothes that we style them in and all of that. And most importantly, you gotta have somebody in there other than Clint Capella that can speak their language. Somebody that's gonna be behind the cameras. How do you know all this, Jay? How do you know? What do you mean? Because I'm one of them kids. You know what I'm saying? I survived that whole situation the same way they did, and maybe not even half the magnitude of what they went through. But I'm no stranger to it, right? And so I kind of told him that, and then like, bro, I'm telling you, I'm still down to nothing. I ain't even got my first paycheck, bro. I'm like eating ramen, bro, like cup noodles, G. Catching the expo line with no tap card type shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I took the expo line from 7th and Metro all the way to Culver City, and hopped off that hoe and walked to the office, which was off of Washington. And that shit took me like an hour and a half. I'm talking like 4 hours a day commuting, you know what I'm saying, to get to work. And didn't have nothing to my name for. Couldn't even go get coffees with these fools for the first 2 weeks, right? Within those first 2 weeks, they're like, called me one night, yo, Jay, what you doing next week? And I'm like, I'm coming to work. Like, no, like, do you need to be in LA? And I'm like, I mean, no, why? Like, because you're going to Houston. We want you to go out there and help direct it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Me, dog? You want me to go and help direct a Nike commercial? What? And he was like, just don't question it. Just make sure you're good to go. Click. And I'm like calling my sister. I'm like, yo, I need some bread, yo. I'm in Houston. I got bread. What you talking about, dog? I gotta like, what? I can't just be up out there with no money. Little did I know there's a little thing called per diem. Motherfuckers giving you money every day.
That per diem every day.
Like, this is the life, bro. And then that, just in the same way that All Def kind of catapulted my whole shit, like that experience with Game 7, and that experience with Clint Capella in Houston. Then I went on, because that shit went so well, they sent me by myself as the only dude from the agency, from the LA office. Like the first time around, they sent like the creative director, a couple of the producers from LA, and I was like the new guy. Like, they're not just gonna send me to Houston and by myself, right? The Houston shoot goes perfectly. Then a month later, yo, we want you to go to Toronto, do the same thing out there for a different story. But this time, We're not going with you. We're not going with you this time. We don't want to go to fucking Canada. You go. Toronto's now my favorite city on the planet, right? Me and Pascual Gutierrez and Cisco Newman, who was the producer of the whole shit, we had the time of our lives out there. Then we came back to LA and did another story in Watts, and it was like a 3-ad, campaign, right? And that shit changed my life forever, Devotion. Like, real talk. Man. I'm a director now, G. I just directed a fucking TV show, bro. Little old me. What the fuck? No film degree. No fucking, like, what? Like, what even is everything, bro? So even in like today and like, I ain't had a solid gig since the Fuse thing, but that was only like a few weeks back, right? I sometimes get hard on myself, but then at the same time, I'm like, man, you got to remember, bro, like this time 10 years ago, I was like thinking about joining the military type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, how the fuck am I going to get through life? And I don't have a college degree. I don't have, any sort of trajectory planned out to take care of a family for the rest of my life and stuff. But what I did have was this God-given desire to tell stories and figure that shit out one way or another. The greatest gift my mama ever gave me was to figure it out, bro. You know, yo, what, the dishwasher broken? Fucking figure it out, fool. You know what, you can't get, you know, you don't know how to change a tire? Figure it out, dog. You know, like, we can't pay rent this next month, we're gonna figure it out like that. And so same thing I've applied that to literally my entire career when it comes to rapping, bro. I didn't go to school for being an audio engineer, owned the 2 recording studios, mixed and mastered records for some of my favorite artists, right? And mix and master my whole first album. And it's, if you ask me, that shit sounds fucking beautiful. That's some Mixed by Ali level fucking mixing and mastering, right? Over 2-track MP3s, I ripped off of YouTube type shit, right? And I figured it out, Devotion. That's my whole shit, you know, like, I don't always know what I'm doing, and I'm comfortable with that. And with the directing, I think that's why directing excites me so much, like rap does, or rap did, because every single situation I'm in, there's some new shit I gotta figure out. You know, there's some new shit I gotta hop on my phone and be like, I need some inspiration here, and I'm gonna, you know, I need to figure out how to make this shit look amazing. This is what I'm hired for. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, that shit is a whole different type of high, man. Like, there's really, I've never ever created any type of medium. I've painted, bro. I was a tagger. I've also painted, you know, on canvas. I've done all types of art. I've designed clothing. You saw all the, you probably saw all the, like, the little poly vintage tees that I designed last year just for fun, right? Like the Rikishi shirts and Junior Seau and Booyah Tribe and shit. And that shit's fun to me, right? But nothing quite gets my gears going like directing does. And you know what, D? Like, bro, this shit may last me for another 5 years, 6 years. And then next thing you know, I'll pick up crocheting or some shit, and that's my new thing. You know, like whatever I could pick up that fulfills my desire to tell stories and create, and more importantly, reach my people. More importantly, like, have kids like me who are either, you know, little poly Micronesian kids, little Black kids, or someone who's exactly like me, who's had this weird identity issue my whole fucking life of coming from a Black and white family, and also from a Micronesian family in a fucking hood where the closest thing we got is Samoans, and the Samoans don't really know me because they only know me through this high school and shit, you know what I'm saying? And then the Mexicans in my neighborhood are like, no, you're Mexican, fool. Like, look at you, fool, you're Mexican. And then the white kids are like, you're not none of that shit. You just sure as hell not us, you know? And then try to be me, dog, playing the keys in a Black church, fool, with cornrows and looking like me, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've grown up with this identity issue, and I want to speak to kids like that too. You know, being racially ambiguous coming up in the 2000s was trash, bro. That shit was big trash. You know what I'm saying? But it made me the man that I am. And if I could tell stories that inspire young kids, and not just young kids, but old folks too, whoever watches my shit, the fact that you said, yo, I watched something that you did that moved me, check the box, bro. Did my job, even if it's just you. You know what I'm saying? I created something that inspired people to look at themselves in a brighter light. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are more than whatever the fuck anybody else gonna tell you is. You know what I'm saying? And that was the basis of that. You know, shout out LeBron James, because that was his sneaker that we were advertising. And then shout out Clint Capella, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's so dope, Oos.
Man. And it all sounds a lot cooler than it really is. But then when I say it out of my own mouth, it's like, man, that's real shit, bro. Like, I'm so blessed, man. Like, that shit makes me emotional sometimes. Like, it doesn't make no sense, because just like that more than shit, G, this ain't supposed to be me, dog. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I come from, I'm the child of 2 convicted felons. You know what I'm saying? Like, both of them got book numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I met my mama through 6 inches of glass, G. You know what I'm saying? Like, this wasn't supposed to be me. You know, I'm not supposed to be record free. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not supposed to be without, you know, I'm not supposed to be without my bones. I'm supposed to be little J, whatever, from wherever. You understand? I'm supposed to be his little homie type shit, but I'm not, dog. I'm my own shit because of whatever God decided. You know what I'm saying? And if I could create content that inspires other people to find that shit in themselves, it ain't gotta be creating nothing, you know? Like, if you a nurse, if you a fucking firefighter, teacher, fucking cop, whatever, I don't give a fuck. If I inspire you to be a better person through the art that I create, you don't even have to remember me, Devotion. I don't give a fuck if you watch my video and you don't know who the fuck created it. I don't give a goddamn motherfucker. Did I get my bag? I got my check. And as long as the message that was meant to be sent, I don't care if you know my name, because that's ego. You feel me? I don't ever, like, if someone did the homework and was like, oh, who directed this? They're probably aspiring directors or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I fuck with them. But for the most part, how many videos have you watched? You don't know who directed it. You know what I'm saying? Music videos and stuff. But the video, you'll never forget. You know what I'm saying? And that's also
nowadays, it's like, oh, damn. The dude at the liquor store directed and cut your shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it was probably tight, bro. It was probably so tight.
No, it's real shit.
Yeah. I
Ooze, I
don't
will
even
say
know what
this,
the original
man.
question was, bro. I feel like I tangent.
Nah, you good, my brother. I will say this, just you answered exactly what I was asking, but just a little bit of the work that I've seen that you've been putting out, Ooze. I can't wait to see you put out a film or a short film, man. Because
Ooh,
you know what I'm saying, Ooze? When you watch something, you want more of it. You want more of the
Yeah.
content. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
Ooze, speaking of more, you know what I'm saying? I know we're about to reach our hour mark, Ooze. What's coming up for TAJ? What can we expect in the future? What's popping with you, Ooze?
Well, you already know, like anybody who's been on my gram, but probably the people watching this don't know. I do my show that I directed for Fuse TV drops on October 6th on Fuse. That's like crazy for me. It's a whole TV show. Like that's crazy as fuck that I'm
congratulations,
my
Ooze.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Like, you mean somebody got to flip the channel like the remote? Like, they don't search it up on YouTube? What do you mean,
we can see you on the TV Guide now, Ooze.
They won't. They maybe one. I think there's one scene where I'm on camera for a second with my boy Spanto from Born and Raised. But just the fact that it's some shit that I was behind the camera and I made every decision about composition, like the way the shots look, I made those decisions. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy to me. And now it's on television, on the tube. It's floating through cyberspace and going into your TV. And once upon a time, our whole families used to sit on that couch and watch this shit. And it's going on Fuse, bro. Like they were like MTV level when we was coming up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud, bro. So there's that coming out, right? And then I'm always working on music. I wish I could give like a solid answer in terms of like what y'all can expect from me, music wise. Just know that there's a lot of it, and it already exists, right? But I'm just trying to find my identity again as a rapper, and just like, I just want to put out some honest shit, and a lot of times these days in my rap records, I feel like I'm rapping like somebody else. Like I said in the beginning of the interview, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, this is tight as fuck, but it also sounds like an Isaiah Rashad record. I feel like I'm just copying him, like some way, somehow. This is a Jose record, or this is a whole Kendrick record, or J. Cole record, or all my favorite, or King Mez, all my favorite rappers. I be channeling them and just, putting that shit on a record. And as tight as it may be to the fans, I almost feel like, I'm betraying the art. And so I don't know what's going on with the music shit, but it is there. And anytime you want me to rap, just pull up on me and we can throw them beats on, we can rap, and we could get it popping, you know what I'm saying? I was just Saturday night, bro. We stayed up till 12 o'clock in the afternoon all night, just ciphering with my boy Sky here in the crib. And that shit's always at the center of my existence, bro. Hip hop is the greatest thing that ever happened to humanity. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing in the world, nothing in the whole world, in the mainstream media world, that hip hop didn't touch. You know what I'm saying? There's literally nothing, bro.
Real shit.
Not the fucking videos that you love, every Nike ad. It ain't even the music, bro. It's the people. It's the way they dress. It's the ideas, the language that they choose. It's the
culture, man.
Come on, you talk what Steve Aoki, fucking all these EDM artists, Coachella. None of that shit would be anything without a DJ, and the DJ wouldn't be anything without turntables, and turntables wouldn't be shit without hip hop, and hip hop wouldn't be shit without black folks. So like, I'm proud to be a hip hop artist, and I'm proud that hip hop is what introduced me to art. And so whatever's coming next, as much as I want to give y'all solid answers, just know that it's going to come from that idea. You know what I'm saying? It's going to come from that space in my heart where that hip hop created when I was a young man. And now it's just whatever, bro. Like hip hop's got many elements,
I feel it, brother.
Hip hop's got all the elements, right? B-boying, DJing, graffiti,
1 through 9,
rap,
if you
right?
with it.
You feel what I'm saying? Just like me, dog. That's how I create, G. Look at me like hip hop. I could be a b-boy, I could be a DJ, I could be a tagger, I could be an MC, I could be a beatboxer, I could be whatever, however far the elements have evolved. I feel that way about art. I could be a painter, I could be a director, I could be a rapper, I could be a singer sometimes too if I'm faded enough. You know what I'm saying? Put me on the keys and throw me some John Legend chords. I'll give it a shot.
That's why I said, man, like there's too many layers of you, Ooze.
I can't sing though. Don't. I can't sing. I mean, not my whole life, bro. I be like, man, it's fuck. I got all these poly cousins that could sing their asses off. I'm over here trying to be a famous rapper, and what they want to do, they want to sing in the backyard with a ukulele. Man, if I could sing like you, bro, I would have been a billionaire. You tripping?
Oh, it's real shit, man. That's why I rap, bro, because I can't sing.
Oh my God, I look at all these fucking poly singers, and I'm like, oh, if we could just switch voices real quick, Ooh,
No, real shit. I tell them straight up, man. I say, hey, you know you only got to put like 3 songs out.
Right.
We can promote that shit,
right.
copy that shit, blast the shit out. We get your stats up. Plug us up. How can we get a hold of you and all the content? Let everybody know.
Yeah, man, it's at JTAJ, JAYTAJ, or you can just search Westside J anywhere on Google, and I'm sure all my socials will come up. JTAJ on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube, wherever you consume content, right? You know, if you just go to my Instagram, there's you there, you'll find everything there. You know, everything you could think of. And I'm pretty sure if you don't have an Instagram, then maybe you weren't meant to find me. You know what I'm saying? You want to add me on Facebook, that's my name there too. I won't be on that hoe, but you can find me there too. You know what I'm saying? And you can probably find me somewhere on Island City. Sometimes somewhere on Island City. I'm always trying to help out. So I'm right here with the family at all times.
So honorary resident right here in Island City, right here, brother.
That.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that, for real. Something I'm proud to be a part of, for sure.
Definitely, man. We appreciate you, Oos. We appreciate your art. Keep doing what you're doing, my Oos, and keep inspiring us, Oos. Because we definitely watching, bro. We love to see it, Oos. You always got a home here in Concrete Jungle, Oos. I appreciate you throwing that pebble out so that we can make this a boulder just coming down. And you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Hey,
Uso,
I appreciate that. And
much love, Oos.
Hey,
definitely, brother.
Flowers, bro. I'm giving the flowers right back to you.
Oos, straight up, man. That's right, y'all. It is your Uso Devotion with the Concrete Jungle chilling with my Uso, my Oos. TAJ, your chief rocker this week. Let's get it. Rah, rah.
What's up, y'all? It's the homie TAJ, aka Westside J, chilling here on Concrete Jungle with my Uso Devotion.
The Concrete Jungle. Concrete Jungle.